Hi, this is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald. Welcome to my Star Atlas Week in Review podcast. This is podcast number 158. Any articles or videos mentioned can be found on my website at intergalacticherald.com. Just look for Weekly Recap Newsletter 206. So just a quick summary of things that happened this past week in Star Atlas. Pretty much the only thing happened was the Atlas Brew, so I'll kind of go over that. But before I get to that, just a couple things about things I'm working on Star Atlas. Of course, my website, intergalacticherald.com, great Star Atlas resource website for guides, directories, recaps, and a Discord newsfeed. Also, you can check out my Star Atlas merch store at intergalacticgear.com. Not a lot of selection. It's pretty much static, but hey, if you want a mug and you're in the United States, I got a mug for you. And then also I am trying to get together a group of gamers that aren't joining guilds at intergalacticcoalition.com. You can check that out. There's an interest survey there. So as I mentioned this past week, the only community event was the Atlas Brew, and they went through a few different things. They did some DAO updates. One of the council members was on. Super Phoenix Sports talked about some of the events they're going to have, and then the team went through a couple different updates and some demos. First update was on Zinc. They noted some things that were changing on the, let's see, how the achievements were being tracked, but then they reverted them. They also mentioned they're working to get the HoloSim kind of tied up or linked so that you can get Z experience for the upcoming HoloSim, but they're going to change it to be more of when you get a HoloSim achievement, as opposed to, I think, the way that was originally being calculated. And they also mentioned in Zinc they've got a working bridge, and I think that's for Solana, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So there was an update on C4. They said they've continued the internal testing's gone well, but they want to do more internal testing, and then they will decide on a date for the public release, PTR, I always forget what the public testing release, but they didn't pick that date yet. So they also mentioned that on HoloSim, they're still waiting for a launch date, but things are progressing now on this kind of last minute stuff they decided after they didn't launch on the date they said. And then a fair amount of the Atlas Brew was on the Project Gallia, which is, again, one of the modes within the UE5 version of it. And so they did some demos of that. One was a demo where you as a ship were helping to defend a mining ship from pirates. Also talked a little bit about planetary navigation for the AI bots within it. I guess it's apparently hard to do on a curved surface. And a little bit of demo on creatures. So, yeah, it was pretty good seeing that. There was a little bit of lag with Discord, but you can kind of get the sense of what they were trying to show. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. As far as Star Atlas updates, again, light week, but also kind of a typical week. So, and one thing I have to say on the moving into kind of my next session, kind of my thoughts on the state of Star Atlas this past week, I am really liking the new cadence, kind of the Atlas Brews, which are a little more centered on development updates and demos. So I think both those things are kind of good. And again, I understand with the community team being laid off, I mean, going to have to fill in with people. But again, you're seeing some of the developers come on and show what they're working on, things like that. So again, I'm kind of enjoying that. It gets a little more information about what's going on in the game. Yeah, what they're being working on. Do think it's unfortunate, again, that HoloSim has still not have a delay, or still not have a release date, still being delayed. But again, not much we can do at this point except just be patient for it to come out. So hopefully sooner rather than later. C4 does sound like it's progressing well, definitely closer to the end than any other point, and being the public release. And as has always been said, this public release is an unknown quantity. And again, I think that totally makes sense. I mean, it is a chance for the community to get involved and see things. And I'm sure, when you have people that haven't been developing it, there's a total chance of finding a whole bunch of stuff. So again, that I don't think needs to have a preset time frame, because you really want to obviously make this well. So again, it seems like we're getting very close to the end when they should be able to announce when that public release is coming. And then as far as Project Gallia as a whole, we've seen many aspects of it on and off for feels like a couple years now. But I don't know, that little mission they showed was like, oh, that looks kind of fun. Again, don't know if it's like a one-time mission or you come back, but I don't know. It kind of resonated with me. I have to admit, just, yeah, I'm a ship and you see something and you help out and yeah, you move on. So yeah, I don't know. It was very interesting. And I guess to me, it's more interesting some of the racing or the gunplay. I mean, they're all different aspects. And again, that's why I said to me, but this feels much more like the exploration type of space game that I had envisioned. Not that there was anything wrong with racing or the gunplay. It just, I don't know. There's just different game styles. So I do admit the racing and gunplay has a ton more replayability, but just the idea that you're zooming between planets and some little, I don't know, you call it a side quest or whatever, just some little thing pops up and hey, that's an interesting way to get involved. So anyways, yeah, so that's just kind of my thoughts on the state of Star Atlas this past week. As far as my journey playing Star Atlas, again, still working on crafting my Mamba X. Can't remember if I brought this up at the last podcast or not. I don't think I did. Can't remember when I did it. Anyways, I did try the recalculation based on the new crafting recipe for the Mamba X, and I don't know, it was probably the wrong time of the day to try to do it, to be honest. It just took long. Yeah, it was last weekend. It just took longer than I thought, and I didn't really figure it out. But yeah, the new recipe is resources, but then these what do you call them, faction specific things, which then you have to break into other things, and I don't know, it's just way too much mental effort. And again, I admit I was assuming it would be like the other one, and if they'd always been this, fine. Not 100% sure, but I think I've now over accumulated some resources, and some other resources are higher than what they were before. So I don't know. I just decided to stick with what I'm working on. Strangely, you can craft them both ways. So I'm not sure why they kept the old recipe and then just added new recipes. But since my goal is really more of doing these commands to gain experience points within Zinc, yeah, I'm just going to kind of keep going. It's weeks and weeks of time just to get one resource. So yeah, and I guess bluntly it could change again before I get everything. So I just decided to not worry about it today, or worry about it that time. And so if I have some more time, maybe I'll look in more depth. But I'm kind of going back to what I had thought of months ago, that these resources should still have purpose going forward. So if you get too many or whatever, who knows? So yeah, so just, I forget which resource I'm working on, but continuing to mine it and transport it back. And I am trying to sell some food at the Starbase. I was successful at one point, so I decided to take some more out and put it on there, but nobody's bid on that. I did raise the price a bit, but I figured if I'm the only one selling, hopefully that doesn't factor into it. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, anyway, so that's pretty much all I've been doing, just status quo, just mining, transport my two fleets, and again, trying to sell some food there. Oh, I have ran out of fuel. I was hoping my increasing of claim stakes would have kept up with fuel, but it's not happening. So unfortunately, I had mined a whole bunch of hydrogen back at the beginning of Zinc campaign, whatever one, Origin, yeah. So just crafting some of that too. So, and my Zinc status is going pretty good. Seems like I keep moving up the leaderboard and then kind of hit a plateau, and then like a week later kind of start growing again. So I'm not really changing what I'm doing that I'm aware of. So I don't know if other people just stop doing things, and that allows me to keep moving up. So anyways, yep, that's pretty much it for this week in Star Atlas. So again, totally open if anybody wants to be a guest on the podcast. Please reach out through my website, intergalacticherald.com, find the contact page, or you can reach me directly on Discord, Intergalactic Herald. Again, while you're at the website, please do check out any of the resources I have, guides, directories, recaps, my Discord newsfeed. I do appreciate that a few people in the last few weeks have been signing up for the newsletter, so thank you very much. Hope you're enjoying that. Not that you're hearing that on this podcast, but hey, maybe you're looking at both. Again, do check out my merch store, intergalacticgear.com, Star Wars mugs. Yeah, I admit I haven't looked at it in months, but I'm still paying for the service. So, And then lastly, again, if you're interested in getting together with a bunch of other Star Atlas gamers who are not joining guilds, please check out intergalacticcoalition.com. Other than that, this is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald. That was your week in review. Have a great week ahead.